You can deep fry anything, and while there are endless arguments over whether or not it's worth frying at home, it is still without a doubt one of the most versatile cooking methods there is. I would argue that tempura frying in particular is one of the most exciting ways to explore this cooking technique. It's fast, easy, you can literally buy it in a box. It's texturally exciting, and as far as what you fry, you can choose your own adventure. Let's jump right into what, in my opinion, is one of the most delicious things you can do with a tempura, which is the corn fritter. I combined 120 grams of rice flour with 1 gram or a quarter teaspoon each of baking soda and baking powder, 6 grams of salt, 15 grams of sherry vinegar, 10 grams of sesame oil, and 100 grams of water. And then I added 200 grams of corn, 2 sliced scallions, and the zest of 1 lemon. Then I carefully dropped spoonfuls of the batter into 375-degree peanut oil and fried them for a few minutes until they were golden brown. It turns out corn fritters are one of my favorite things in life, and this is a particularly delicious version that tastes even better dipped in the habanero crema I'm going to be making in just a minute. If you already know anything about tempura, this may not seem like it, because tempura is generally a technique where you take a piece of vegetable or seafood, or really whatever you want, dip it in the batter and then fry it. But this batter is actually the exact same as my go-to tempura with slightly less water added to it. One of my favorite things about tempura is that you can buy a very convincing version in a box. And I would strongly encourage anyone to try these tempura mixes because they are fantastic and incredibly easy. You literally just add water. And if you want to make a fritter, just add about 3/4 of the water the directions tell you to, then add your corn, scallion, and lemon. But if you do want to make your own, here are some things to keep in mind. Classic tempura is made with wheat flour, like a standard all-purpose flour. And because one of the hallmarks of tempura is the depth of the crispy coating, a leavening agent like baking powder is often used, as well as eggs, which help keep the batter together and give it some of its hallmark golden color. That said, I'm making one of my favorite tempura batters. I combined 150 grams of rice flour, a quarter teaspoon or 1 gram each of baking powder and baking soda, 15 grams of sherry or rice vinegar, 10 grams of sesame oil, and 150 grams of water. Because this uses rice flour instead of the traditional wheat flour, it does not contain any gluten, which means you can whisk this very thoroughly and not worry about the batter becoming tough. Anything containing rice flour instead of wheat flour is going to get crispier, which is why I love this batter so much. And you can literally dip almost anything into this and put it in a hot deep fryer and it will taste delicious. From broccoli to prawns to Twix bars, the possibilities are endless. Personally, I went with a soft shell crab, which I bought cleaned, but I wanted to cut more of the front part off and to make sure the flap here on the bottom was completely removed. Then I coated it with rice flour, shook the excess off, dipped it into the batter, drained the excess off, and then lowered it into 350-degree peanut oil. Sometimes soft shells want to bundle up in the fryer, so I gave them a gentle shake while I was holding it halfway in the oil, and then let go of it and fried it for a few minutes until it was a light golden brown, then put it on a paper towel and seasoned it with salt. I love soft shell crab. It's one of my favorite things to eat. But for those of you that see this image and all you can think about is the movie Alien, it's important to remember that this technique is limitless. Try it with shrimp or scallops or strips of your favorite fish instead. I ate it in a taco with red cabbage, pickled chilies, avocado, Thai basil, and a habanero crema that I made by blending 250 grams of sour cream, 40 grams of lime juice, 1 lime's zest, a seeded habanero, and 6 grams of salt. This was particularly delicious and I think well worth the effort. But anyway, that's all for me on this one. Thank you for watching, and I will see you soon.